You play 82 games, so you get to play some more. And the Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators have done just that. And the heroes of the hemp puck tonight brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. For the Senators, Linus Ullmark, 25, 14, and 3 this season. 2.72 is goals against average and a .910 save percentage. Anthony Stolarz gets the call for the Maple Leafs. 21, 8, and 3. 2.14 and a league-leading .926 save percentage. He will get the start in goal for Toronto. The crowd is ready. We've got the square outside packed full of fans as well. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we shall see which ghosts appear. The recent ones over the last 8 years or the ones from 20 years ago, when these two teams met 4 times in a very short period of time.
Leafs to the right, Senators to the left. Lots of jousting, still jousting. Now the puck is finally dropped, and we're underway. Senators get it out at center and play it down into the Toronto end. Hustling back in there after it was Tandem to get it along the boards. Leafs send a high alley-oop through center. Settled down there by Marner, but he couldn't control the puck. Sens get it out into the neutral ice area. Brought on by Artem Zub, and he'll shoot it down into the Toronto end. It bounced right out in front of the net as it came off the corner boards at a strange angle. Played by McCabe out at center. Tavares looking for Domi. Domi into the corner against Nick Jensen with a hefty hit. Tavares getting it back at the net for Nylander. Nylander trying to play it back to Domi, hit a broken stick. And it is cleared to center ice by Amadio to the Leaf blue line and in. Nylander dropping it off there to the defense. Riley up ahead, and now Domi finds Willie, who gets it down into the offensive zone. Played around the boards then by Ullmark. Another couple of good hits there on the forecheck, and you know that everybody in this building is right into it as we get an icing call against the Ottawa Senators.
We talk a lot about being team tough. This is part of it. Getting in on the forecheck, finishing hits. And I still remember a video, Joe, from Paul Maurice. And he was between periods at the start of a playoff series, and he said, finish every hit so they feel it all the way to Game 7.
That's it. And they all have each team's got a wide list of what happened to these guys during the regular season. I'll never forget Roger Nielsen's Buffalo list when he was the assistant coach. He had a list of players who had operations on various parts of their bodies. Shot goes wide of the Ottawa goal. The Leafs are able to keep the puck in on the far boards. Into the corner now for Lawton. Sharp angle shot went high over top of the net. Kept in by Benoit at the near point. Now to Lawton. Lawton with a shot towards the net that was blocked. Puck comes out in front of the net, and now Ottawa trying to get it ahead, and Lawton finishes a check there. Played by Lorenzen over the line. He took a bit of a bump from Matapalo, and now the Senators have it in behind their own goal. Lead pass off a stick to center. Tip back now for Robertson, and now onto the wing and sent into the zone then by Pontus Holmberg. Robertson with a hit. Another hit on the far side then by the Leafs, and a long shoot in goes wide of the goal. Robertson in with another big hit. Even the little guys are throwing their weight around here tonight. Lead pass down into the zone, covered up there and sent into the corner by Stolarz. Leafs with an errant pass, and there's going to be an icing call.
Now it's the energy you want. To start a game here on home ice, you get the crowd into it right away. Still not an official shot on goal from either side. But from a Leaf standpoint, you just feel like it's an organized assault, don't you?
Yep.
Dump and chase, get.
Puck won by the Senators. A shot goes wide of the net into the near corner. Shipped along the boards by Riley, who took a late hit there from Brady Tkachuk. and it's up on the wing to the line. A long shot is kicked away by Stolars. Bouncing puck back of the net. Centering attempt broken up. Pontus Holmberg will just play it out into the neutral zone. Senators get it ahead at center and into the Toronto end. Tanev going back. I don't know if I've heard this crowd this revved up in a long time, Mr. Ralph. Brought in over the line by Stützle. Long shot taken on the chest and held by Stolars.
Now it's interesting when you look at who has the edge between these two teams. Certainly, if you just look at the standings, you would say the Leafs. Look at recent head-to-head. It's Ottawa, including all 3 games this season won by the Senators.
Face-off will be in the circle to the right of Anthony Stolars. Tavares won it cleanly, and Domi will drop it off to the defense, and Tanev with a pass ahead for Nylander. Nylander circles it now, cuts through the neutral zone and gets it in off the wing that Tavares couldn't handle the pass. Puck comes back at center, and it'll be flipped into the Toronto end. Stolars swinging it around the boards to find Domi, who let it go, and it comes all the way out at center ice. Nick Jensen playing it back to the line and in as it goes wide of the goal and into the side of the net. Domi missed a hit there from Perron. Puck is in the Toronto end, and Domi is able to skate it out. Domi trying to get it ahead, had to go off a stick. Brought by David Perron back in over the line. Long shot steered wide of the net by Stolars. Puck along the boards and cleared to the line, but not out. Sanderson to Zub. Zub with a shot. That stopped. There's a big rebound in front, and it's cleared into the corner then by Domi. Leafs start out. Domi's been on for a while as he alley-oops it through center. Perron on the far side ran into Tavares. Leafs are going to get their change done, though, and the puck is back into the Toronto blue line area. Fired by Benoit into the zone. Down the boards it goes into the left wing corner. Grabbed off there by Shane Pinto. He is given a jolt. And now here the sends in across the line, only to have the puck turned over to Nyes. Leafs get it ahead for Matthews. Matthews to Nyes. Nyes dumps it into the far corner and rampages in there after it. Got it back of the net for Matthews. Shooting, and a glove save made by Linus Ullmark.
First shot on goal for the Leafs after 3 to open the game from Ottawa. Austin Matthews, you like this. Picks up the puck behind the net. Does a little pivot in the left wing circle and decides I got a lane. I'm going to get it there. Matthew Nyes looking for a rebound that doesn't come.
Nicely underway. 4 minutes and 41 seconds played. No score. Face off to the right of Ullmark. Matthews leaning in against Stützle, and the Senator won the draw, but the Leafs got the puck out in front of the net. Matthews was too well tied up before he could get a stick on it. Played down into the Toronto zone. Tanev taken to the boards, but got the puck along the wall on the far side. Puck is in the far corner now, set up on the wing. Tkachuk blocked that. Sent it around to the near wing, kept alive by Nick Jensen. Back of the net, centering effort by Tkachuk didn't work. Comes out in front of the net, and the Leafs are there, and they're going to flip it high into neutral ice. Changes for both teams coming. Shabbat got it to the blue line, but his pass was intercepted by Scotty Lott. Played off the boards to center. One-handed to the blue line, and now brought in well offside. And a face-off will come out in neutral ice.
Again, going by the head-to-heads between these two clubs, there's some rather astounding stats. Joey, when you look at it, Ottawa's won 5 straight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The last Leaf win against Ottawa in this building, October 15th, 2022. Justin Hull had the game-winning goal for the Leafs in the third period. Elias Samsonov picked up the win. So Ottawa, I don't think, comes in feeling like they can't win against this team or in this building.
Played down into the Toronto end. Clevin got it up on the wing, and it'll escape the center ice. Holmberg playing it back in his own zone, and up on the wing it comes in and over the line. Pontus Holmberg with a shot, and that goes off a stick and caroms up into the screen and goes out of play.
And there were a lot of things you love from a Leaf standpoint, Joe, coming into the postseason.
Yes.
And one of them being how the third and fourth lines started to contribute offensively. Especially Steven Lorenz has been such a great story for the Leafs. Lorenz, 8 goals on the season, 5 of them game winners. You like the fact that Scott Lawton scored for the Leafs in overtime. His second goal, 4th point for the Leafs.
Played high to center ice. This is going to go the length of the rink. And they'll do it all over again from the circle in the Ottawa end of the building. Leafs are at 13-2-1. Down the stretch they come with Secretariat with a 19-length lead. Wrong sport.
Yeah, you know when that started, though? After their loss against Ottawa here.
Yes.
The 4-2 loss, and then the Leafs went on that roll that helped them get first place in the division.
And home ice. Riley playing it to the line, couldn't get it in deep. Drake Batherson turns for Ottawa, got it to the line, but it is deflected and goes into the Toronto bench and out of play. But it is a different animal. Regular season, postseason.
You know, last year, only 4 teams in the playoffs were above 500 at home, including the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers, who went to the finals.
No score, first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Face-off outside the Toronto blue line. Matthews line up against the Stützle threesome. So Marner is in up against Tkachuk on that side. Now Matthews got waved out. Marner steps in to win the face-off, and it goes around back into the Toronto zone. Behind the net, Chris Tanev waiting patiently, and Brady Tkachuk getting a stick in the way of goaltender Stolarz. That created a bit of fun. A centering pass for Nyes as it's down in the Ottawa zone is broken up, and the Senators bring it to the line and in. A pass in by Giroux into the corner, comes back to the point. A long shot, gloved out of the air with Tkachuk on the doorstep by Anthony Stolarz.
It's going to be interesting to see the line matchups that Craig Berube prefers. We've seen the Matthews line out against the Stützle line on a fairly regular basis early on. There, Zub, quick one-timer from the point with Tkachuk trying to provide the screen in front of Stolarz, but the Leaf goalie was able to peek away and snag it up with his left hand.
Draw to his left, no score. Puck one into the corner by the Maple Leafs, played up on the boards. It bounces into the slot, stolen back by Lawton, played ahead on the far boards then by the Leafs to get it out into the center ice area. Played ahead by Nick Jensen, who sends it into the Toronto end. Chipped around the boards then by Benoit, who crashes into his man on the far side, and Dylan Cousins, and the Leafs break it out at center. Here's the line to brought in over the line now, looking past in front of the net, shot jumps into the rush. The fourth line gets the Leafs on the board.
Ekman-Larsson coming late, but you had 2 Leafs going to the net. Bjornkrok on the right side, Lorenz on the left. And that opened up a space for Ekman-Larsson to take it right between the hash marks. And he snaps it glove side on Linus Ullmark to give the Leafs the first goal of this series.
How do you like the Lawton acquisition so far?
Like we said, I mean, they were good. Back-to-back games coming in.
Long shooting is gloved by Stolarz.
And that was the game-winning goal in Buffalo. that Lawton set up Steven Lorenz, and of course Lawton had the game-winning goal in overtime in the final game. So little things at the time, you say, well, that's nice if it can carry over. And we've seen that fourth line look dangerous here in the first 7 minutes of this game.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson had 4 goals and 25 assists for 29 points in the regular year. But he scores the opener here for the Maple Leafs. They lead it 1-0. Tavares going to face off here with Shane Pinto. Now the linesman is moved in there for some reason. Draw won by Toronto. Puck pushed back in the net for Morgan Riley, but he gave the puck away in a shot. Good block made there. Another shot taken, and it is cleared up on the wing, and Domi will just ice it high to the far boards and get it down into the Ottawa end. Puck comes back out at center ice now, and Tavares back in for Domi. Domi had it knocked off his stick, regains it momentarily, but Amadio will play it down into the Toronto zone. Lawton and Yarncrook with the assists. And it wasn't so many weeks ago that we were bemoaning the fact that the Leafs were not getting any secondary scoring. Well, that has changed. Pass off a stick down into the Toronto end. Benoit circles the goal, being chased hard, but the forechecker falls. And now Robertson flipping it into the left wing corner. Now a shot by McMahon went high and wide, and it's caromed all the way back down into the Toronto end. Benoit looking over the shoulder, has the puck controlled and got it ahead for Robertson, and he makes a good decision to just get it high to center ice and get a change of players going. Now here's Giroux in over the line. Brought back now with a puck in the slot area for Tkachuk. Along the far boards for Stützle. Back to the point of shot. Blockered away and knocked away by goaltender Stollers, and the Leafs will get it out at center ice. Are you keeping track of the hits, Mr. Ruff? Here's a shot by Shabbat. That went wide. Rebound back of the Toronto goal. Played on the boards for Nyes. Nyes trying to contain it. Took a bit of a hit, but Matthews comes out with the puck and skates it to center ice with Marner. He'll flip it into the near corner. Matthews in with a hit there on Shabbat. Marner crashes into his man Jensen. Puck goes around back of the net. 10:39 to go, first period. 1-0 Toronto on a goal by OEL. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Fired in by Riley and around the boards to the far side. Yarncrook kept the puck in, but the Senators get it freed up, and Perron gets to center. Broken up, and now a pass in on the left wing. Here's Lorenz. Trying to play it in front of the net. A shot right in front of the goal. Oh, it was knocked off the goal line. Played around the boards.
That was Yarncrook trying to fish it over the line.
Here's Lawton after it. And now Yarncrook goes after the near boards with it. Playing it along the boards. I believe we're hearing a Brady sucks chant. Just in case you can't really tune in. Set down into the corner. Leafs with it in their own zone. A long pass to find Max Domi. Domi trying to go to the right wing side to Nylander, but the pass was knocked down, and now Stolarz plays it along the boards as it comes back to the point. Trapped there, and a shot by Montepallo went wide. Into the far corner for Clevin. Back of the net, broken up by Tanev. Tanev to Domi. Domi into the traffic, and it's set around the boards and out into the neutral zone and down into Ottawa territory. Nylander up, forechecking. He's going to get to a loose puck on the far side to keep it in. Took a hit there from Ridley Gregg, and it is cleared to center ice now by Ottawa. Riley across the line, and the linesman says that was offside. Tyson Baker and Steve Barton are the linesmen tonight. Brian Pakmara, Garrett Rank are the referees. 1-0 Toronto. Almost two on a goal scramble and off the goal post and off the line. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Oliver Ekman-Larsson won the Stanley Cup a year ago with the Florida Panthers. He has scored 4 career playoff goals coming into tonight's game, so give him another one. Number 5 in the books. And he goes back into his own zone to pick up the puck to find Benoit, who plays it ahead at center. Trying to bat it in over the line was Lorenz. He does now. Lawton with a drive. Oh, and he whistled that just wide. Kept in by OEL on the far side. Lawton into the far corner. Behind the net now for Lorenz. Centering pass went off his skate. Lorenz is going to get it again. Back to the point to OEL. Another shot coming, and it went high and wide of the Ottawa goal. Fourth line's been the best line on the ice.
For either team.
Played out at center ice now, and Cousins gets in with a weak wrist shot, and he got drilled before it ended up going up into the screen. Was that Benoit?
That was Simon Benoit. So Benoit first gets his stick on the attempted shot and then just follows through with the right shoulder. I don't know which got a bigger reaction from the crowd.
I think the hit did, to be honest. I mean, you look at last year's roster at this time playing in game 1 and this year's roster, and you say, you know, they're a lot more physical.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you and I are the same on this. People ask, and you have to be honest and say, well, they're different. We'll see if it's better.
Long shot goes well wide of the Leaf goal. Marner chipping it ahead, couldn't get it ahead, denies, and Giroux gets it in across the line for Stützle. Back it goes to Giroux, cutting from a sharp angle of center, and it went back to the point. Chabot doesn't send it at the net, he sends it back to the goal. Giroux let it go. Puck comes back to the blue line, knocked down by the Maple Leafs. Ahead, it goes, Marner's got a breakaway. He's in on goal, deep shoots, holy mackerel! The Leafs have a 2-0 lead. What a pass and what finish by Mitchie Marner!
First line stuck in their own zone until Austin Matthews gloves an attempted dump in down the boards to the left of Stolarz. Matthews grabs it, drops it, and Mitch Marner reads the play. He took off out of the Leaf zone. Got in behind the Ottawa defenseman, took the pass between center and the Ottawa blue line. Walked in on Allmark. And I think Allmark's thinking deke all the way. But Marner just flicks the wrist and puts it over the glove hand of Allmark. 2-0 Toronto.
Moog will get it down into the Toronto zone. Brandon Carlo along the boards for Domi. Domi in tight, got it freed up for Carlo, who goes around back of the net, reverses it for Morgan Riley. And Riley will look up ice with the lead pass to find Johnny Tavares. His feed for Nylander didn't connect, but Nylander gets the loose puck, and he'll send it back into his own zone. Now Willie, starting out of his zone, comes to the line with a pass in on the left wing. Pontus Holmberg sends it around the boards into the far corner. McMahon can't get to it, and it is played out at center ice and in over the line for Zetterlund. He can't control it. The Leafs play it around the boards to the near point, but they don't get it out initially. Puck still free, and now here's McMahon pushing it ahead for Robertson. Robertson in over the line, jams the brakes on, gets it into the corner. McMahon around back of the net, looks for a point man, finds him. McCabe a drive, and that hit a body in front of the net. Robertson against the wall. He gets it freed up. Puck is pushed in along the boards into the corner and then shot down the ice by Ottawa, but no icing. 6:18 to play in a wild first period. Leafs have had 16 hits in the frame.
Well, Ottawa's outshot the Leafs 9-3. And yet, Leafs certainly look more dangerous, haven't they?
Played out at center and knocked away. Now here's Lorenz in over the line with a pass for Lawton. Couldn't get a shot away as he was too well covered. Yarncrook frees it up. Lorenz works it back into the corner. Knocked down, but gets it back to the point. D to D, it'll come to Riley, and a shot is into the chest of Ullmark, who will hold for a face-off. This team and this crowd going crazy here at Scotiabank Arena A 2-0 Toronto lead on goals by Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Mitch Marner. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. First period brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca. Mitch Marner in his 58th playoff game. 12th goal. 51st point. Draw to the right of Ullmark.
Shane Pinto getting tossed out of the face-off dot across from John Tavares.
Tavares scrummed the draw, but it goes back of the net. Played around the boards by Artem Zub. And on the far side, Shane Pinto trying to get it out. Had it broken up by Willie. He went to the net hard and got taken down. But the puck rolled off his stick as he was just getting to the net.
Might have blown the roof off the place.
Oh, I think. Played back of the Ottawa goal into the far corner. Sanderson got it up on the wing for Ridley Gregg. Gregg has it taken away. Trying to chip it in over the line was Tavares. He did. Nylander gets it freed up. Nylander working back along the blue line. Still with it. Manages to keep it in. Against the boards. He still has it, but then had it knocked away. And the Senators will go back to regroup. 2-0 Toronto. 4:50 to start. Left in this first period. Whoa, maybe too many men there, but they get away with it. Slapped into the Ottawa zone. Down the boards, it's chipped into the corner for Marner. Centering pass for Matthews, just out of his reach. And out come the Senators to center ice. Giroux can't get in over the line. Marner run into, but the puck goes free for Tanev. He and McCabe will exchange the disc. Tanev has it in front of his own goal. Coming straight up ice to center. Then turns back. Leafs are changing. Laid out into the center ice area. Now here's Yarncrook sending it into the zone. Lorenz backhands back of the net. Cut off there by Lawton. Couldn't get it in front. Into an empty corner it goes. Thomas Chabot will play it up the boards and out at center. Another good hit. Leafs as Batherson comes in with a shot that was blocked away nicely by Stolarz. Far corner in the Senators centering with a pass. Knocked away. Still free. They score. Great Batherson. And it was unfortunate. Stolarz looked like he was going to get his glove on it.
Yeah, he bobbles it. It was a fairly harmless looking shot. Stolarz gets his left pad on it. And then the puck bounces in front of him, and he's trying to put his glove over it. It's just poked in by Batherson, blocker side. And the Ottawa Senators out shooting the Leafs 12-4, get on the board. And have sliced the Leafs lead in half, 2-1 Toronto.
16-16 the time of the goal. Batherson in the regular season, 27 goals and 68 points. Or 26 goals and 68 points, sorry. So, the Battle of Ontario is now fully engaged. Both teams have scored.
That might settle Ottawa down too, Joe.
Brought out at center ice now by the Leafs and then over the line for McMahon. Senators go back. Clevin given a jolt there by McMahon. And the puck comes up on the right wing side. And Gaudette gets it to center and in on the right wing for Zetterlund. Zetterlund driving the net with a shot. A big scramble in front is broken up and out comes Nicky Robertson. Robertson is caught from behind and tackled. The puck goes in over the line and Pontus Holmberg couldn't quite contain it. Now Robertson trying to help out along the boards back of the Ottawa goal. Back to the point, it'll come to Chris Tanev. Dished off to Domi. Domi's wrist shot off a leg goes well wide. Robertson back of the net. Knocked down on the play was Pontus Holmberg, and the Sens will get it off a stick. Look out, that's going into the Leaf bench area. And the play will be brought back into the center ice area just in front of the Ottawa bench. Cousins and Perron drawing the assist on the goal.
Really looked like one that Anthony Stolarz, I don't know whether he kind of got crossed up with Morgan Riley as to who was going to play it, but that little hesitation by both allowed Batherson to jump in and poke it home.
Artem Zub lost an edge and fell, but they get the puck down into the Toronto end. Played back of the net and up on the boards now for Nylander. Nylander goes rink wide for Morgan Riley, who will get to center and shoot it in. On the far boards, Tavares unable to reach it. Nylander tips it back of the goal. Can't get there before Zoom plays it around the wall, but it's going to go the length of the ice. Now with 2:13 to go in the first period, we have an icing call coming against the Ottawa Senators.
The Senators are able to bang one in on Anthony Stolarz. Stolarz comes into this playoff on an 8-game winning streak. And a goals against average of 1.37, 964 save percentage in that streak heading into this game.
Point played off on the wing for Marner. Centering pass in front, comes back to the blue line, just kept in on a shot. That was knocked down by Ullmark, and then he had to get a glove on it.
Not sure if
Oliver Ekman-Larsson got it through.
Austin Matthews got a piece of this for redirection. And it would appear the defense score is going to change. Matthews' line will stay out. Tanev and Jake McCabe come out to man the point. 2:03 to go in the first. Good energy by the Leafs. Goal from the fourth line.
Leafs win the draw. Shot goes off a leg and breaks the skate of Stützle, who has to go to the bench. It comes out at center ice, and here's Tkachuk. In on the left wing for Shane Pinto. A backhand shot is stopped. Brady Tkachuk accidentally fell down and bumped into Stolarz. Accidentally. Sure, it wasn't intended.
I don't know if that's going to get an Oscar.
No, I don't think
so. And then
so.
Shane Pinto comes in. Thing is, with this, Joe, you got to be really careful not to get sucked in to saying we've got to retaliate to everything he does. Eventually, you hope it blows up to the extent that maybe Brady Tkachuk is the one that's going to start taking the stupid penalties, but you can't be going and running around after him.
Face off in the Toronto zone to the right. Matthews scrum the draw, but it comes back to the point, kept in by Shabbat. He'll ring the boards with it to the near side. Jensen gets it down into the corner. Leafs will flip it high to get it to center. Marner couldn't swipe at it, and Giroux from the red line bounces it back into the Toronto end. Oliver Ekman-Larsson on the wing, and up on the boards it comes to Marner. Marner to center. Drops it off for OEL. OEL returns the favor. Marner in on the left wing. Makes a couple of moves. Played it into the corner then for Scott Laughton. Laughton treated up there for Lorenz. Lorenz kicking the puck into the near corner. But the Senators are going to get it and get it out at center ice. And another hit by Lorenz. Slapped back into the zone by Benoit. Along the boards and pushed out at center by Ottawa with less than a minute to go in the first period. It has been entertaining, to say the least. Shot into the Ottawa zone. 2-1 Toronto. Puck around back of the net. Clevin couldn't come up with it. Stolen by Willie. Got it back for Laughton on the near boards for Riley. A weak shot is easily blockered away by Ullmark. Jensen steps out from behind his goal. Got it ahead for Dylan Cousins. Cousins poke check on the wall. Bouncing puck pushed out at center. Nylander trying to get to it, but it goes off his skate, and he'll have to go back into his own zone to restore it to the defense. Morgan Riley turns back up ice to Tavares. Tavares in over the line to the left wing corner for Max Domi. Domi in along the boards, couldn't come out with it. And Sanderson now playing it to the blue line, but not out. Kept in by Tavares, and that was turned away. And the final second will tick down. That might have been the best period of hockey I've watched this year.
Well, certainly from a Leaf standpoint, when you came out, you were physical. I don't put into a whole lot the shots on goal at 13-5. As we saw, the two best scoring chances found the net. And that was Oliver Ekman-Larsson found a lane, set up by the fourth line, and then Mitch Marner scoring in the breakaway. And then let's not forget Kelly Yarncroc hit a goal post as well. So the Leafs do give one back. We'll see if that is going to calm the Ottawa Senators down. But I think from a Leaf standpoint, everything you wanted. They were controlled, composed. I thought very physical without crossing the line and trying to get too caught up into being a loud team. Because we saw that if you watched the St. Louis-Winnipeg game last night, St. Louis came out and hit everybody in the first period. That's tough to maintain, and that takes a lot out of you physically. So you really have to pick your spots when it comes to being physical, and I thought the Leafs did a pretty good job of that in the first.
Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way with our first period intermission. The Maple Leafs with a 2-1 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs will carry a one-goal lead into the second period of play, leading by a score of 2-1 in the second period. Brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Goal scorers, the Leafs jump to a 2-0 lead. Oliver Ekman-Larsson from Lawton and Yarncroc, and then Marner from Matthews to make it 2-0. But Batherson cut into the lead. Cousins and Perron getting the assists on the goal, and it is 2-1 after 20 minutes of play.
What about the hits in the period? 20-18 for the Leafs. Certainly seemed like the Leafs may have had the louder ones.
I think about the games in Boston, and it would be like 20-5.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden the shoe's on the other foot. We're ready to go. Puck is dropped. We're underway. Leafs to the left and the Senators to the right. McCabe off the stick of Matthews into the offensive zone. Marner will forecheck and get a bit of a bump in as the puck comes up on the wing. Turned back behind the net by Sanderson. Up on the right side for Giroux. Gets leveled there on a hit by Jake McCabe. Back of the net, Tanev playing it up on the wing and chipped out by Nyes. And the puck is down into Ottawa territory. Shots favored the Senators 13-5. Leafs did hit a goal post and seemed to be the more dangerous team throughout the course of the first 20 minutes. Tkachuk backhands it down the ice, and this will be an icing charge against the Senators. Brady Tkachuk had a pretty rough week when it came to being high-sticked in the mouth. Well, even his own teammates were after him.
And even when he came back, he only played 2 periods, didn't play the third period against Carolina in their season finale against the Hurricanes. That was a game where they were up 3, then they were down 2, and came back and won it at the end.
Domi along the boards for Nylander. He gets away from one check. Curls back along the far half board. Still has it. Curls again. Trying to get away from Shane Pinto. Played around the boards. It'll find Morgan Riley. Riley loses the puck, and Tkachuk has a breakaway. Tkachuk is in a goal. Stopped by Stolarz. Huge save by Anthony Stolarz. Leafs bring it in the other way. Nylander closing, and it's blocked away as Riley is able to keep the puck in. Back of the net for Nylander. Side of the goal and back of the net for Domi, who centers in front. Tavares a backhand, and Ullmark may have got a piece of that. Played down into the Toronto end. Icing waved off. Puck goes around the boards as Oliver Ekman-Larsson finishes a hit. And the Leafs are going to get it to center. OEL dropping back in his own zone as the Leafs are changing. Well, the hitting hasn't stopped. Played down into the zone, broken up by the Leafs, and a wrist shot whistled wide of the net from Steven Loren.
Boy, you got a lot on that, didn't he?
Did he? Shabbat plays it in over the line. Huge save by Stolarz to start this period on Brady Tkachuk's breakaway. Lorenz gets the puck out at center. Montipalo breaking it up, and now on the near boards, it's Tyler Clevin taking it back to the Ottawa goal. Clevin waiting for teammates to change, and the Leafs are doing likewise.
First big save of the series, though. Stolarz on a breakaway by Tkachuk.
Errant pass, waved off, puck down into the near corner. Not sure how that wasn't icing, but along the boards, Riley trying to play it up ahead. Bobby McMahon is bodied. The puck comes free into the slot. A shot that was blocked. Now another drive. Whistles high and wide of the Leaf goal. Pushed out at center ice by Toronto. And Pontus Holmberg will add pressure, but he won't be able to get to the puck. It's back into the center ice area. Leafs regroup it at their own blue line. Morgan Riley to center, and he'll shoot it in. Around the boards for Sanderson. He took a hit there from Bobby McMahon. And now Senators regroup it back in their own zone. Here's Marner stealing. Marner against the boards, coming out with a nice play. Centers off a skate, and it went just wide of the Leafs, trying to get to it with Matthews in front. Near side for Ridley Gregg, picking off the puck there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Into the slot area on the right wing side, a shot blocked by Knies. Centering pass, Stolarz! Huge save on Shane Pinto!
Boy, Knies with the shot block, and then it bounces right back to a Senator's stick. And relayed across the slot to Pinto, and Anthony Stolarz, we said first big save was off Brady Tkachuk on the breakaway. Here's the second big one. It's Pinto alone in the slot. Snaps it, but Stolarz gets over, gets out, and absorbs it into the crest.
Draw to the right in the Toronto zone. Is won by the Maple Leafs. McCabe got it up on the wing, but didn't get it out, and then the Leafs are able to chip it to center. Shabbat for Tkachuk. He'll shoot it back in, out of the net. Stolarz playing it quickly back along the boards. A late hit there, and a penalty coming to Tim Stützle for boarding from behind.
Yeah, this was Chris Tanev, who just chipped the puck up the boards, and Stützle came full bore right into the number 8. So the Leafs will get the first power play of the night. Ottawa penalty kill, 19th overall. Leafs power play, though, sputtered down the stretch. Just 1 for 18 in the last 9 games.
And a year ago, it was abysmal. They had 1 of 21 on the power play. So it's a different configuration. 5 forwards are out there for the Maple Leafs. Something that Greg Berube dreamt up early and has maintained. Leafs win the draw. Puck back on the far side for Nylander. A pass in front, deflected right on another net and score! Johnny Toronto! Johnny on the spot! And it is a power play goal, and the Leafs lead 3-1.
Seconds. How about keep it simple? Throw it to the net. John Tavares, I think, Joe, redirects this before it gets to Ullmark the first time, and simply turns and picks up his own rebound as Willie Nylander from the left point just snaps it along the ice towards the net. Ullmark makes the first stop, and John Tavares turns. It's actually the first one, Joe. Cut Ullmark up on the left shoulder. Dropped right back down out in front. Tavares turns. Chips it glove side to restore the Leafs 2-goal lead. 3-1 Toronto.
That didn't take very long. Played in over the line by Lawton. Swept around the boards. Benoit pinches. Puck maintained, but it is pushed to center ice, and the Leafs have it back in their own end. Benoit's going to get to the red line and just flip it into the far corner. Jensen goes in there after it, back of the net. Shabbat trying to play it away from a hit there from Lorenz. Lorenz against the boards, and now here the Sens getting it high to the Toronto blue line. Gloved down there by Benoit and played back to the net for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. The Leafs will get it to center, but not into the zone. Played by Perron back into his own end. Shabbat, lead pass broken up by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Dished back and now brought forward by Pontus Holmberg. He hits the line and flips it into the near corner. Shabbat playing it around the boards. It'll find Giroux on the far wing, but he can't get it out either. Now the Sens Shabbat. A pass over on the right wing side. McMahon broke that up, and the Senators now play to center, where it's grabbed by Chris Tanev and deposited right back into Ottawa territory. Bobby McMahon had the bomb doors open there, and the Senator player turned the other direction, or there might have been a real collision. Played off the boards to center ice, and Tkachuk trying to bring it back in. Ends up doing a bit of a snow slide into the far boards, but it's offside. And it'll be brought back out into the center ice area. Tavares from Nylander and Marner.
I'm not a big fan of the Brady sucks chance. To me, just ignore him. I mean, he's probably just reveling in the attention. To me, don't let him be a part of this big series.
Jimmy, the people want to have fun. The people want to have fun,
hey,
and you're taking their fun away from them.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Well, puck back at the point, a deflection in front of the net, went off the skate of Pinto and went wide. Greg, centering pass, broken up by Domi, and he's just going to get it out. And a late hit here.
It's Morgan Riley. Is it not, or is it Tavares?
No, it's Tavares, I believe. That was a late hit. Tavares on his haunches and getting up onto his skates. Seems to be all right. But another power play coming to the Maple Leafs here. I was watching the puck out at center. I didn't see the hit.
It was a cross check right to the face of John Tavares in the corner to the left of Stolarz.
Now I'm going to take a look at this. This might be a major penalty. Brady Tkachuk is over there on behalf of the Senators.
Yeah, I mean, this is right to the chops.
Tavares was coming in to apply a hit.
Yeah, but just to the left jaw. Now the crowd, I think, trying to make the official on.
Here's the announcement.
Ottawa, number 71, has been assessed a 5-minute major. The play is under review.
There it is, Ridley Gregg as the Ottawa Senator that has taken the penalty. And the Leafs have an opportunity
to do some damage here.
Yeah. 1-for-1 already in the power play.
They will review this now to see if in fact it will be maintained as a major penalty. Tavares was not cut, at least not noticeably if he was.
Yeah, but still, cross-check to the face, a deliberate attempt to injure.
Wow, that was right up on the visor and off the side of his head.
And right away, Craig Berube was holding up 5 fingers, and it's got to be more than 2. Now the officials will take another look. Well, this is the NHL is going to review this.
And Brian Puckmark, no, it'll be Garrett Rank.
After video review, Ottawa, number 71, has been assessed a 2-minute minor penalty for cross-check.
Well, get up 4 or 5 and take a 2-minute cross-checking penalty back, right?
Yeah. Second power play opportunity for the Maple Leafs. And the first one, and now Tavares is going to have to go to the bench. He's not going to be allowed to start on the power play.
That could switch. Scott Lawton could win the draw.
And Lawton's going to be waved out, so Matthews will take the face-off. Face-off to the right of Omar. And the draw scrummed and played to the side of the goal and then whipped around the boards and out and down the ice. And Lawton will be replaced by Johnny Toronto. Here's Marner in his own end. Dropping the puck back for Willie. Nylander comes through center. Left wing feed for Matthews on the boards for Nye. Stolen by Ottawa and knocked out at center ice. And now down the boards comes Matthew Highmore. He was knocked off the puck. Then the send it all the way back into their own end. And at the side of the goal now, it'll be banked off the near boards and down into the Leaf end. Marner is there to Tavares. Tavares starts through center. Tavares to the line and in on a right wing feed for Nylander out of his reach. Played back by Ottawa into neutral ice. And Marner has to go back for it. Waiting for someone to get back there to swing it to, and he does. Nylander starts out. Nylander to center to the line and in. Nylander trying to split the defense, couldn't. Marner's able to keep the puck in. Far side for Nylander at the far half boards. Looking back towards Marner, still with it. Down low, centering pass to Tavares. Jam play, Ullmark down. Puck came free. Leafs unable to finish the job. And a hit in the corner. Penalty coming here to Ottawa. Gaudette for hitting Matthews from behind.
It's going to be another cross-checking penalty. And the Leafs 5-on-3 for 44 seconds. Gaudette doesn't like the call. And as we often say in these situations, it's a 3-0 advantage for the Leafs in power plays.
Number 81, 2 minutes cross-checking.
Better put some in the bank here. This was right after the Leafs had the puck into the blue paint. Matthews just couldn't find it after it came off the left pad of Ullmark. And as
I think the Leafs have called timeout here, I think, yep. During the regular season, the Leafs were 1 for 6 on a 5-on-3 over a 4-minute and 1 second span.
One of the things you always see when teams aren't successful in a 5-on-3, it's too much of the outside passing. You've got to actually have the mindset you're going to score like the Leafs did in the last power play. Just throw it on the net. Look for a deflection, a rebound.
Outnumber people in the important area, right?
I know you. The belief is we've got enough room. There should be enough lanes that somebody has a one-timer into the empty net. But a lot of times those lanes keep closing up.
Face-off will be in the circle to the right of Linus Ullmark. The Leafs lead 3-1, scoring a power play goal earlier. Tavares from Nylander and Marner here in the second period. Tavares wins the draw. Nylander steps into the slot and scores! Willie Nylander pounds it home for a 4-1 Toronto lead, and Jim Ralph is the new power play coach.
How's that for a timeout well used? 9 seconds off the first power play. This is 3 seconds off the 5-on-3 face-off. One back to Willie Nylander. He just moves right to the middle of the ice and beats Ullmark about 1.5 feet off the ice, under the blocker, over the right pad. 4-1 Toronto, and still 1:57 left in the Gaudette penalty.
My question is, what did it take them so long with the meeting?
Yeah.
So we get it to Willie, step in front, shoot it. Okay, that's 5 seconds worth of timeout. So Willie Nylander gives the Leafs a 4-1 lead as it's shot down the ice. And Marner goes back behind the net. Nylander trailing as the pass comes ahead, and Matthews works to the line and in over the line to the left wing boards. Down into the corner and back it goes to Marner. Marner to Nylander on the far half wall. Nylander to the circles with a shot, and that went wide. Here's Marner keeping it in, getting a return pass from Matthews into the slot. Tavares shooting! Blocked away there by Ullmark. Good try there by Tavares. Leafs into the corner with Nylander back of the net. Nylander working into the near corner. Stops up at the half boards, back to the point, Marner. Marner to Willie. Nylander down low, centering pass. Oh, what a chance that was for Tavares, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Marner again, up top of the circle, passing in, blocked but kept alive by the Maple Leafs. Marner finding Tavares, shooting, stopped there by Ullmark. Puck along the boards, the Leafs maintain. 48 seconds in the power play. Down into the corner for Matthews. Matthews curling out, still with it, took a shot. That went off the side of the goal. Matthews again, different spot, got a shot away, but it hit a body, and it's cleared by Ottawa down the ice. This is a whole different looking power play, though, isn't it?
It's a little bit of swagger to it.
And some punctuality. Get it to the net, and they have. Robertson unable to come up with it as it's played around the boards and past Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It'll go down the ice with a dozen seconds left in the penalty. Here the Leafs getting it ahead and down into the zone. Wrapped around the boards, blocked in the corner, and Robertson looking for an outlet. Got it to Domi. Domi gets it back to the blue line. Shot by Oliver Ekman-Larsson into the glove of Ullmark, who gives Domi a slash on the way by.
This is where the Leafs have to be very, very careful. You know, the power plays are 3-0. You got a 5-on-3 that you scored on as well. And we've talked about it before, that sometimes...
Stop it.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes.
Out night.
All right. Commercial.
Yeah. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Rick Five in attendance tonight, and he was handing out jerseys to members of the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment staff who have been here a long time, including Celeste Agostino, who works out at the practice rink. She's here.
50 years is amazing.
Yeah. And hey, I met her in my first year here. Here's a pass in front of the net by McMahon that went to the far side. Domi unable to get to it, and it is pushed by Ridley Gregg to center ice. Penalties have expired. Benoit back in his own zone. Got it ahead. Robertson lost it. Benoit plays to the line and out at center, and a push ahead goes to Domi. On the wing and a shot. Pad save made by Ullmark. McMahon in the far corner. Works it around in and along the boards. Tried to find Domi back at the net and does. Domi curling out. Back to McMahon. McMahon chips it in against Gregg into the corner. Robertson trying to come out with a loose puck. Took a hit there from Nick Jensen. And got bowled over, and the puck comes back to the blue line. The Leafs are able to keep it in momentarily. Lead pass gets to center ice and into the Toronto zone. Good play made there by the Leafs. McCabe, but it's kept alive in a shot. Pad save made by the Leafs goaltender Stolarz. Another shot from the blue line is blocked by a trio of Leafs in front of the net. And it is played out into the center ice area with 9:23 to go here in the second period. The Leafs led 2-1 after the first. They've added a pair here on the power play in the second. Yarncrook got it ahead, and Lorenz sends it down into the zone. He's heading to the bench, maybe a skate issue there. Senators back at their own blue line. Brought to center by Montepallo and sent into the Toronto zone. Pushed around back of the net for Riley. Got it up on the wing for Nyes. And it'll roll down into Ottawa territory. Zoo trying to get it back. Goes to Dylan Cousins. Cousins circled his own goal. Got it up on the right wing side. Looks for a return pass and a shot. Rings off the goal post in behind Stolarz. And the Leafs Nyes will get it out at center. Senators right back in again. Down into the corner. Perron trying to get it freed up. Played it back of the net for Cousins. Cousins pass blocked by Morgan Riley. Cousins gets it back to the blue line. Long shot knocked down by the Leafs. Riley gets it off on the wing. Marner couldn't get it out for him though. Here they send Batherson into the slot. Long shot blocked in front of the net. They bang away at it. And it's Nyes. Cooley taking it to safety, getting it to the red line and shooting it in.
Right on a good shift for the Leafs. About 3 turnovers inside their own blue line.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson back in his own territory. Got it out. Marner is still out there. He needs to get to the bench, and he'll do this now. Played out at center ice for Tavares. Couldn't get free, and is back into the Leaf end, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson reversing the puck, and it's going to slide out at center, and with Tavares with speed and over the line on the left wing side, and a shot is gloved there by Ullmark. Going hard to the net was Pontus Holmberg, and then Tavares getting into it.
Tavares really didn't do anything except circle in behind the net.
Linesman's had his helmet knocked right off the top of his noggin.
But like I said, these are the things, Joe, the Leafs have to be careful of. Even in these scrums, if they start deciding to pull one guy out and throw him in the box, it's probably heavily weighted in favor of the Ottawa Senators getting the next power play.
7:23 to go, second period in game one, and the Leafs with a 4-1 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs 4, the Ottawa Senators 1. 7:23 to go here in period number 2.
Shots on goal now even at 17 apiece. The Leafs had a 2-1 lead after the first. Senators had outshot them 13-5. So 12-4 advantage for the Leafs here in the second, and 2-0 in goals over the Senators here in the second period.
Draw to the right of Ullmark. Tavares line out there for the Maple Leafs. And the draw scrummed, cleared to the boards, and out off the glove of Benoit, goes into the Toronto bench.
Another interesting little tidbit. Last Leaf win. Oh boy, I don't know about you. I didn't see that one.
No, I didn't either.
The last Ottawa Senator playoff game, they lost in Game 7, double overtime of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Goaltender for the Penguins in that game was Matt Murray. Last Leafs win against Ottawa. Remember Joseph Wall got hurt in Ottawa.
And who
was
came
great.
In?
Matt Murray.
Yes.
Who ended up getting the win.
Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid, proudly built here in Ontario. Leafs are able to poke the puck out at center. Marner gets it in over the line. Looks to make a flip pass, but it was well out of the reach. Matthews, working the far boards, though, is able to send it around the wall, and it's going to come to the line and punched right back in again by Jake McKay. Visit your Ontario Honda dealers today. Sens get it out at center. First power play opportunity of the series for Ottawa. Sanderson getting it around back of the net. Punched up on the near boards. It'll come to Tkachuk at the point. Fed off on the right wing side for Tim Stützle. Back it goes to Sanderson. Sanderson near side. A shot blocked in front. Taken to safety by Yarncrook and backhanded out and down the ice. The heads up play that was.
Leafs, Ottawa, by the way, 6 for 15 in their last 3 games coming into the playoffs.
They were 11th overall in the league on the power play. Their best power play they've ever had. Here's Shabbat on the near boards for Perron. David Perron gets it along the boards. Back it'll come to Shabbat. Retained there by Zetterlund to the right wing side. Wrist shot coming. Blocked there. Rebound in front. Oh, what a save! Holy mackerel, what a save by Stolars! Back of the net for Carlo. Carlo trying to free it up using that long reach, and he does. And it's going to be backhanded to the line and out.
Stolars has been fantastic here in the second period.
Shot in and around the boards it'll go. Tkachuk loses it. The Leafs bank it to the line but don't get it out. Tkachuk on the right wing side, fired it wide. The rebound near side. Perron into the slot. Back to the point, Shabbat. Far side again, and a shot coming is off the mark wide. And it's caromed and gone into the screen, so I think the faceoff is coming outside the blue line.
And Willie Nylander will escape the penalty box. Lisa will escape first Ottawa power play of the series. 2 saves by Anthony Stolars, and they were a second apart.
It is 4-1 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. 2-1 after the first period, but Tavares from Nylander and Marner, and then Nylander from Tavares on a 5-on-3, both power play goals, and the Leafs have a 4-1 lead. But Anthony Stolarz has really done well in protecting that. Here's a shot in traffic that's blocked. Grabbed off by Nyes. Nyes is going to flip it to the blue line, but not any deeper. Shabbat plays it right back into the Leaf zone, but it misses everyone. And an icing call will come here against the Ottawa Senators. We've been critical of the crowd here over the years. They all need to get a bouquet.
Yeah.
They are into it big time.
And it started right from the opening video montage that they had with the wrestler.
Yes, yep. The Edge. Yes, my son Sean works for MLSE in the video area, and he put together a wonderful montage that was played here prior to the start of the game. Here's Tkachuk down in the Leaf corner. Gets it freed up and back to the point to Shabbat. Shabbat with a shot in traffic, blocked. It comes up on the wing, and Marner does well to get it out at center ice. 4:35 to go in the second period. And on the wing for Tkachuk. Closing with a shot, and he missed. Rebound to the far side, kept in by Montepallo. Along the boards, Stützle. Back of the net for Tkachuk. Too well covered. Leafs get it freed up with Tanev to Marner. Marner will get the puck out at center ice. He's looking to outlet there to Domi, but thought better of that. Now Tanev has to go back after it and plays it around to his defense partner on the far side, Brandon Carlo. And Domi will get it out. Pass on the wing for Marner. Marner to the line and in. Marner on the left wing side, curls back and heads to the bench as Riley presses on. Took a shot from an angle that went wide. Brandon Carlo on the right wing point. Sends it down around back of the net for Nick Robertson. Robertson back of the goal for McMahon. McMahon trying to play it back to the blue line, but had it knocked away. And now the Sens bring it down on the left wing side. Clevin will send it around the boards, but it's cut off there by Morgan Riley. To Brandon Carlo. And out at center ice, it's played to the center ice red line. Leafs can't get it in deep. And the Sens will organize with 3:18 to go in the period. Leafs 4, Senators 1. Morgan Riley chased down into the corner. Took a pretty good hit from Shane Pinto. Nylander got it to the line but didn't get it out. Played around back of the net into the corner now for Amadio. Amadio comes out with a pass back to the point for Zub. Zub in traffic, a shot deflected wide of the Leaf net. Riley got it up on the wing for Tavares. Tavares can't get it out. Played right back into the corner. You can smell a penalty coming here if the Leafs don't get this thing out of the zone. Jensen around the boards to the near side, and Willie will get it out. To center to the line and in. Pontus Holmberg off a change. Couldn't keep it in. Jensen will get it up on the wing, and then Nylander arrived on the scene and almost got it in there for Pontus Holmberg. Senators play it back into the Toronto end. Punched around the wall to the near side. Yarncrook freed it up for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who finds Benoit. Benoit off a stick down into Ottawa territory. 2 minutes left to play in the second period as we get an icing.
Yeah, Leafs have got to treat this like the last 2 minutes of a game. Don't give anything up. If you're going to dump it out, dump it in. Try to bore the Senators to death. 1:59 to go here in the second period with a 3-goal lead for Toronto.
Leafs have blocked 13 shots. Draw one by Toronto. Tanev at the right point, doesn't send it to the goal. Gets it to Matthews, who took a shot. There's a rebound in front of the net, and Marner couldn't get to it. Senators back in their own zone. Pass deflects towards the net. Knocked away by Stolarz. Tanev with it again under No pressure, got it ahead. Was it touched by Matthews? Apparently it was. No icing. Minute and a half to go in the period. Sens get it down into the Leaf end. Oliver Ekman-Larsson pounds it off the boards, and with good protection there from Yarncrook. It was out and brought back in again, and now Benoit skates it out at center, gets it to the red line and shoots it in.
Oh, usually they give it a little more leeway than that.
Yes.
And Ekman-Larsson is now, well, you know, looking at it again, he was probably about 2.5 feet short. Might have been a lot of times as long as the follow through covers the red line. So this is the right call from the official. Hopefully it's not an important one. 1:08 to go here. Face off to the left is Stolarz.
Lawton will take the face off for Toronto. And the draw won by the Senators. Near point for Sanderson. Shot went wide of the goal. Into the corner, Stützle. Back to the point. Over it comes to Sanderson again. Another shot wide of the goal. Nyes chopping at it. Knocked it down for Benoit. Benoit has it in his skates, but he was knocked down. Good poke check then as it comes out in front of the goal. A shot. Stolarz got a piece of that. Leafs desperately trying to get the puck out. Lawton against the boards. Fights hard for it with 36 seconds, and they do get it to center. Shot right back in again. Sanderson to the far corner. 27 seconds left in the period. Sends into the slot area for Sanderson near side. Shot blocked. Rebound. Yarncrook taken down there by Batherson, and a penalty coming to Ottawa.
Well, I think it's going to go. Is it going to be tripping or interference? A bit of a slew foot by Batherson. And Brady Tkachuk is coming in. I don't know if they're going to throw both Lawton and Tkachuk in the box as well. The referees are going to discuss it. Batherson is already in. And I think we've got Tkachuk and maybe Lawton are going to go. But this after Anthony Stolarz making 2 or 3 more big stops here to keep Ottawa at 1 goal on the scoreboard.
Ottawa number 19 got 2 minutes for tripping. Ottawa number 7 and Toronto number 24, both 2 minutes each for roughing.
Those are the calls. So face-off still be in the Ottawa Senators zone. Leafs only have 12.6 seconds work, although they haven't needed that much off the face-off in their 2 power play goals. Win the draw, get it to the net.
So Batherson for tripping puts the Leafs on the power play for the 4th time. They have scored twice with the man advantage, which is 1 more than they scored all of last year in the postseason.
By the way, 3 of the 4 penalties for Ottawa coming in the offensive zone, which is not great discipline. I don't think Travis Green will be thrilled with that.
Just 12 seconds left in the period. Tavares will take the draw. And it's scrummed and grabbed off by the Sens, and down the ice it'll go. And that will run out the clock. A pretty impressive 40 minutes for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They carried a 2-1 lead into the second, scored a pair of power play goals from Tavares and Nylander, and have a 4-1 lead after 40 minutes of play.
And even though the Leafs outshot Ottawa 13-8, look at that save that Stolarz made. It was 2-1 still when Stolarz stopped Brady Tkachuk on a breakaway. And that could be a huge turning point. Circle that moment for the Leafs goaltender. Maybe he didn't look great on the first goal, unable to handle the rebound that was knifed in to make it 2-1. But boy, he was brilliant in the second period, and that's what you want. You've got the lead. You not only don't give up anything that is suspect from a goaltender standpoint, but you make some saves that you would have been forgiven for if you hadn't made.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, and William Nylander have scored goals for the Maple Leafs. Greg Batherson for Ottawa. The Leafs will carry A 4-1 lead into the third period of play here in game one of the best of 7 against the Ottawa Senators. But the guy between the wickets has been pretty darn good.
Well, I mean, the Brady Tkachuk breakaway when the score is 2-1 for the Leafs. So Leafs have a 2-0 lead, and Ottawa cuts it late in the first. Brady Tkachuk has a chance to tie it. And when you want to compare it, Mitch Marner scored in a breakaway to make it 2-0. So the Leafs get one and don't give one up on similar plays. They do get a power play here to start the third period. The core four, by the way, that has often been criticized over the last number of years in the postseason, combining for 7 points in the first 2 periods. Everybody with a goal and an assist except Austin Matthews, who has 1 assist on the night so far.
Leafs to the right and the Senators to the left as the puck goes down into the Ottawa zone. Cleared back into the Toronto end, and Nylander was able to just poke it back, and the Leafs are on the power play here as they start the third period. Marner bringing it to the red line and into the zone. Works along the boards, trying to play it back along the wall and got it into the corner, but had it knocked away. And it comes to center ice, and Nylander is there to Matthews. Matthews circles back to his own blue line. Leaves for Willie. Nylander into center. He'll hit the line and in, but had it knocked off his stick, and it is shot down the ice. Then Nylander is...
Boy, Ridley Gray gave him a little extra shot.
He sure did. He fell right on top of his head. Matthews coming out of his own end. Straight up ice to center on the left wing for Nyes. Nyes tried to play it back to the blue line, but it was intercepted, and it is shot on a bounce down wide of the goal. And getting to it quickly there was Highmore. Highmore in the corner, now being chased by Marner. Highmore will play it all the way back out at center ice, and Shabbat has it there to Nick Jensen. Jensen in on the right side, plays to the side of the goal, played off a stick, and it's going to carry him all the way back into Ottawa territory.
Little bit of a lackluster start for the Leafs here.
Change on the power play. Oliver Ekman-Larsson misses Pinto with a hit. The puck goes around back of the net for Morgan Riley. Riley's going to whip it around back of the goal again and find Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but only 10 seconds remain in the power play. Domi hits the line and in on the right side into the slot and got a shot away, but it went off his stick and went harmlessly wide. Robertson now back to the point, and Riley will have to hurry. He did, and the shot went just off a body wide of the Ottawa goal as the penalty is expired. Riley must have eyes in the back of his head, because he got rid of that in a hurry, knowing someone was coming out of the box. He has it again on the near boards for Domi. Back to the point it'll go. Riley exchanging it with his defense partner. Now it got a shot away, and it is gloved by Ullmark. And he will stop play and bring a face-off in the Ottawa zone.
Ottawa Senators pretty aggressive right out of the chute here on the penalty kill. That's where you almost wonder, there are times like this, you know, the 3-goal lead in the third period, and then a power play, and you still go with the 5 forwards. I mean, I understand you make it 5-1, you put the game away. But there is sort of that mentality that you can't afford to give up a short-handed one and let Ottawa back into it.
Draw control by Ottawa, played out into the center ice area. Batherson will get it into the Toronto end. Lawton ringing the boards with it, and it is chipped by Yarncrook to get it out. Up on the wing it goes for Lawton. He'll backhand it down into the corner. Yarncrook goes in after it, but takes his man out of the play, but can't come up with the puck. Dylan Cousins will get to center and flip it in. Linus Ullmark has now given up 4 or more goals in 6 of his 10 career starts in the playoffs.
His last start was a 7-5 loss to the Florida Panthers. All of his playoff experience coming with Boston. Obviously, he was in Buffalo before that.
Yep. Here's Jensen for the Sens. Got to the red line and swings it around the boards. Tanev sends it back from whence it came. Sens send a shot to the net off the glove of Stolarz. Tanev settling things down nicely. Gets it up on the wing for Marner. Marner stick handles away from one to find Jake McCabe. McCabe, a lead pass for Nyes. He is drilled from behind by Thomas Chabot, who is heading to the bench. Nick Jensen back to the Ottawa goal. Leafs are getting a change in as well. Jensen, a pass in across the line, goes into the corner. Good hit there by Benoit. Puck comes back on the near boards for Pinto. Shane Pinto around the boards, and there's going to be a penalty here to Toronto. Zub into the slot, a shot that was blocked. A rebound stopped again by Stolar. Centering pass, they score. Senators cut the lead in half. 4 minutes into third period play.
And it's Ridley Gregg that jumped on the loose puck. So Ottawa just keep hammering it towards the net and eventually found a spot. It started by a point shot off a skate. Rebound went to Michael Amadio. And Amadio tries to get it to the net and eventually bounces out middle of the ice to Ridley Gregg.
What was the penalty going to be for? Did you see anything?
No, that's, I mean, similar to the Nylander one, Joe, where a bit of a mystery, but a lot of time left for the Ottawa Senators. They'll come out here with a little more purpose, and the Leafs have not been as focused, Joe, here to start the third.
Played down into the Ottawa zone. Matthews with a hit. Puck comes up on the left wing, and it is Tkachuk getting it ahead to Artem Zub. Pass intercepted there by Tanev. Tanev getting it around the boards near side for McCabe. Long lead pass. Had no chance of getting it to Nyes, and the puck comes back in on the left wing. Tkachuk from an angle, and that's off the blocker of Stolarz and up into the screen and out of play. So the Leafs come out with a flat power play, do not really get any kind of scoring chance.
It's amazing how teams can draw energy off of that. But what you also noticed on that Leaf power play is how aggressive the Ottawa Senators were, right? This wasn't sit back in the box. They were forcing the Leafs all areas of the ice. And that continued once they got back to 5-on-5.
Face off to the right in the Toronto zone. Robertson taking the draw off a face-off and got it up on the wing and poked the center ice and now brought in now on the left wing. Robertson looking back at the blue line, got it back to the point. Riley with a wrist shot. Deflection in front of the goal. And the Maple Leafs have regained a 3-goal lead. Did that go off? Bobby McMahon? Point shot, I think, is going to find the distance.
McMahon, it looked like, took a swipe at it. Nick Robertson makes a nice play, curl inside the blue line. Right wing boards, threw it back to Morgan Riley. No, I think this actually goes off an Ottawa defenseman, Joe. It does change directions right in front of Linus Ullmark. I thought it was McMahon.
I did too.
I think it was the Ottawa defenseman standing to the left of Linus Ullmark, and the Leafs get a huge break.
45 seconds after the Gregg goal, Morgan Riley restores the 3-goal lead.
It would have been Matthew Highmore that had it bounce off on number 15, the forward.
Perron for the side of the goal in front. Oh, what a save made by the left pad of Stolarz. Puck along the boards to the point, kept in by Cousins. To the left point, and a wrist shot is blocked away by Stolarz. And now Lorenz getting it freed up. I'm laughing
Some bumper
because
cars down
Brandon
there.
Carlo, somebody went to hit him and ended up flying away, going in the opposite direction.
Looked like the Blue Jays that ran into Rudy
Yes.
Telez, the Rowdy Telez the other day. Right.
There's a chance now with a shot that whistles high by Shane Pinto. Kept in by Ottawa to Zub. His shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Centering pass went off of Stolarz, and it is carried to center by Nyes. Nyes will flip it down into the Ottawa zone. Nylander into the forecheck, but can't come up with it. Sens get it up on the left wing side. They'll come to the red line and shoot it in. Around the boards, it's going to come to McCabe. He let it go to find Pontus Holmberg. He'll drop it back into the Toronto defense. Tanev to McCabe. McCabe up at the center for Tavares. Tavares, a high pass into the far corner. Couldn't find Marner there. Almost stolen by Pontus Holmberg, but now the Sens get it out at center, only to have it taken away by Matthews. In on the left wing, off the glove of Ullmark and wide. Good save by Ullmark there. Maybe the best save he's made of the game.
I mean, that was labeled for the far corner, and he just does get his glove on it.
Leafs have scored 5 times on 20 shots. Now, I know you and I aren't real good at math. I don't think that's a very good save percentage, Mr. Ralph.
That's about 5 goals every 20 shots, Joe.
Thank you, Tips. Here's Highmore.
I got a calculator on my phone.
Oh, you are really sharp. I'll tell you, you are on your game tonight. Oliver Ekman-Larsson back of the goal. Benoit trying to play it up the wall. Did so to Robertson. His backhand didn't clear, but the Leafs get it to the line and out. Robertson to the red line. Plays it deep into Ottawa territory as Robertson getting shoved around by Fabian Zetterlund. Long lead pass has gone astray, and an icing call against Ottawa with 12-12 to play in the third period. What a huge goal that is from Morgan Riley.
I'll tell you something, from an Ottawa Senators standpoint, I know only 7:48 into the third period. This is actually something to build on. At least, as we say, come out with a flat power play. Ottawa then scores to make it 4-2. They were drawing a penalty at the time, delayed penalty. And then Morgan Riley gets the gift deflection on a wrist shot from the left point to restore the 3-goal lead. But I think for Ottawa, I mean, they've had some nastiness and some jump here in the third period.
Yarn Crook back of the goal. Lawton gets it to the point, sent back into the corner for him. Lawton protects the puck well to get it back to the point again. Then a long shot in front was knocked away, and Lorenz comes away with it. To the point again, and another shot deflects off a body and wide of the Ottawa goal. The fourth line has just had a marvelous game. They have been the best line the Leafs have had on the ice. Shift in and shift out.
5-on-5, absolutely.
Puck played to the line on the far side and just cleared by Perron to center. Left wing boards. Nylander sends it in. Pontus Holmberg into the forecheck. Tavares trying to help out. It goes to the far wing. Amadio will play it out at center, and the Leafs have it there. Jake McCabe shooting it right back in again. Crowd hasn't let up on Brady Tkachuk, have they? Here's a pass up on the wing for Amadio with a long shot that just missed on the far post. Kept in by Ottawa to the near corner. Riley will get there first. The veteran around back of the net for Brandon Carlo. That long reach and huge body pushes it up on the wing. Like a condor. That's a big bird, Mr. Ralph. Big wingspan, really big bird. Like bigger than the one that used to be on Sesame Street.
What was his name?
Big Bird. Sent down into the zone. It goes into the Ottawa, into the Leaf. Marner playing it back of the goal into the near corner.
Who needs Google when we got each other?
We got each other here. Puck back in the Toronto end, and Riley dishes it off to his defense partner. Brandon Carlo ahead, and it's tipped in over the line by Nyes. Down into the corner it goes, grabbed off there by the Sens. They don't get it free. It comes in front. Matthews to the point. Benoit, far side, a shot into the chest of Ullmark. Off OEL, who already has a goal in this one. 9:47 to play, third period of game one. Leafs 5, Ottawa 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Bit of a shout out. Alyssa McNamara sent us a note. Her dad, Steve, in Princess Margaret Hospital, listening to us on the game. To everyone, we want to thank you. Looking forward to this playoff run for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Draw one by the Maple Leafs. Nylander sends it in front of the goal. A big collision there as Tavares was knocked down, and the Sens get it out. Zetterlund in on the right wing, and the shot went well wide of the goal. And the net got bumped there as Zug works in, and a glove save made by Stolarz to stop play. Brandon Carlo, I mean, he towers over almost everybody.
Yeah.
He's got a great sense of humor because he sits there and chats with somebody almost like, what are you trying to do here?
Yeah. We did see him drop the gloves as a member of the Leafs.
Yep.
9:28 to go. He's trying to guide this home, but don't give Ottawa any more confidence going into game 2. Still battle.
Stutzla to the left wing side, and a wrist shot is knocked away by Stolarz. Shots favor Ottawa 27-20. But the scoreboard favors the Maple Leafs 5-2. Sens can't get it in cleanly. Leafs regroup the puck back in their own end. Off the boards for Nyes, tipped ahead for Matthews, just out of his reach. Shabbat ahead for Stutzla. He couldn't handle the pass. McCabe slams him into the boards with a hit. Stutzla centers in front, and it's knocked wide of the goal off the stick of Perron. Who was that? Tanev in front of the net that just tied that stick up.
It was Austin Matthews.
All right.
On the back check.
Don't tell me I'm wrong.
Well, Tanev would have been on the other side blocking it.
Brought out at center ice by Ottawa. Sanderson in on the wing, and the shot went high and wide, and it's caromed off the glass and gone out of play. Or did Stolarz get a piece of that? I think they're going to keep the face-off. No, they're bringing the face-off outside the blue line. So Stolarz did not get a piece of that. Oh, no, wait. Check that. We're going to a commercial break. They'll face it off from the Leaf end when we come back. Leafs 5, Senators 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. 8:23 to play third period. Face off in the Toronto end. Senators now with 29 shots. Maple Leafs with 20 as Marner gets the puck out at center ice and down into Ottawa territory, but a little too much mustard on it turns into an icing.
Thanks to Armin. We just found that the Leafs with the goals by Ekman Larsson and Morgan Riley. It's the first time that the Leafs have collected multiple defensemen scoring in a playoff game for the first time since Game 5 of the 2001 Stanley Cup playoffs against the New Jersey Devils.
Wow. Off a stick down into Ottawa territory. Olmark will leave it there for Jake Sanderson. Sanderson starts out. Comes to center with a pass ahead for Giroux. Giroux hits the line and in. Shabbat trying to catch up to it. McCabe blocked it. It comes into the slot area. Sanderson doesn't shoot it. There's a shot. Knocked down in front of the goal and cleared back of the net by Jake McCabe. McCabe spins away from a hit, but it comes back to the point. Here's Shabbat. Shot blocked by Nyes. He's trying to get back up after blocking that shot. And the crowd has given him all of the help he can as it's flipped out, and Nyes will get to the bench for a rousing salute.
Say what you want, this fan base still loves the Tucker, Corson, Brian McCabe mentality of sacrificing everything, especially when it comes to the postseason. Now, was that the left hand that might have caught Matthew Nyes? That's probably scarier than taking it off to the side of the leg, isn't it?
Yeah. Face off in the Ottawa zone after an icing. Draw one by Toronto. Nylander drops for Benoit. Shot deflected wide of the goal by Pontus Holmberg. Cleared to the line, but not out. OEL on the right side with a wrist shot that deflects into the near corner. Leafs trying to spend some time in the Ottawa end. Puck comes to center. Dylan Cousins got to the blue line. Turnover there. Here's Batherson dropping it back. Perron cuts to the middle of the ice with a shot that's blocked, and a penalty coming here.
There's to Ottawa.
I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson got
drilled to the right of the Leaf net.
Yeah.
And this is another Ottawa penalty.
Oh, wait a minute. Now Tavares is headed that way.
Wait.
Oh, no. Tavares is headed to the face-off, sir.
Ottawa number 19, 2 minutes for cross-check.
That is the fourth penalty Ottawa has taken in the Leaf end. And the third cross-checking. Boy, this was just trying to do a little dirty little cheap shot. Coming in from behind Ekman-Larsson to get to the front of the net. And from a Leaf standpoint, Joe, got to make them pay. Got to rub their nose in it here with 6:55 to go.
Face-off will be to the right of Linus Ullmark. 6:55 to play in the third period. The Leafs 5, Senators 2.
Boy, somebody going to the dressing room as well.
Cousins, I think, is
Is that a misconduct, maybe?
I would think, although that's not been announced. Draw to the right of Ullmark. Tavares won the draw, comes back to Marner at the point. Wrist shot coming! Big rebound in front of the goal, and they score!
Make them pay.
Matthew Nyes jams it home! 6-2 Leafs!
And again, how simple has it been for the Leafs on the power play to have success? Throw it to the net. Whether it's Marner, whether it's Nylander. Here's Marner again. Throws it to the net with Matthew Nyes in front. I think the Marner shot hits Nyes, goes to Matthews. Matthews tried to jam it in short side. But the Leafs get another fortuitous bounce as it goes off Ullmark across the top of the crease. And Matthew Nyes has a 3-footer from the blue line.
30th of the year.
But take it. I believe Nyes' last goal was in overtime. Was it not a game 5 in Boston?
There's the Leafs after it again. A centering pass by Domi. McMahon couldn't get it in front of the net. And the Sens will get it out at center and down to the Leaf blue line. Morgan Riley trying to force his man wide, and the shot deflects into the corner. Brandon Carlo after his man on the far side. Grabbed off by the Sens and played back to the blue line. Long shot blocked. And then Robertson is able to muscle it out at center, and Domi sends it the rest of the way. And Domi taking a couple of extra shots. Here the Leafs after it in the corner, though. And McMahon couldn't get it in front of the net. Fourth line out there again for Toronto.
Dylan Cousins, it is 10 minute misconduct.
Tanev in the near corner in the Toronto zone. Off a stick, but it'll be an icing. No, icing waved off. The goaltender came out to play it. Send it in on a delayed offside, and it's whistled down. And
we got another penalty coming up.
Scott Lawton.
Boy, this is going to be something Ottawa is going to have to clean up. The discipline.
Ottawa, number 43, 2 minutes for high sticking.
The survey, so a lot of cross checks, high sticks. And like I said, I think there have been some positive things from Ottawa here in the third period. Yeah, this was more of an accident than it was a dirty play in behind the play.
6-2 Leafs. Back to the power play they go. You're listening listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Face-off coming in the Ottawa zone with 5:33 to play in the third period. And the Leafs are going to their sixth power play opportunity of the game. Tavares scrums the draw. Nylander couldn't get it in front, but it comes to the blue line, and Marner dishes off to Nylander on the near boards. Top of the circle, down low for Nyes. Nyes comes right to the front of the net and jams at it. And Omar makes the save. Love that idea.
No, absolutely. Take it to the net. By the way, I know a lot has been made of Linus Ullmark's 3-6 career playoff record. But his save percentage, Joe, in those games, .887. In his 10 playoff appearances, 9 decisions.
Not going to get any better tonight.
No, it's not.
Face off to his right again. Draw one by Toronto. Tavares gets it back to Marner on the wing for Nylander. Top of the circle, near side. Nylander looks in front. Still with it, down low. Tavares in front of the net for Nyes, and he couldn't jam it home. Tavares off the boards, gets there to get the puck free again. Back to the point, it comes in front of the net, and Ullmark.
Well, Ullmark ended up sitting on top of Matthew Nyes. Nyes got hung up on a goalpost, and Ullmark sat on him.
Oh, he gave him a pretty good butt in, too.
Yeah. It's safe to say Ottawa got to clean up the discipline department. Maybe part frustration. Part.
5 minutes left in the third. Sends ringing around the boards, but Matthews got over there to trap it and keep it in the zone. And then a bad pass gets by Tavares and back into the Toronto end. Nylander cruising back into his own zone. Gave it to Marner. No, don't be. Nylander having difficulties with it. Finally finds Matthews, who comes down the left wing and in. To Nyes on the left wing boards. Tried to play it back. It comes free for Marner, but it's poked out at center, and Ridley Gregg trying to drive against Marner. And a crash into the goal post. Down is Stolarz. Is he all right? Yes.
I think this is goalie interference. I think he just, I don't think he's taken down. He just falls and slides right into Stolarz.
Matthews getting it back of the net for Domi. Max couldn't come up with it. Shot out and down the ice. And Stolarz is going to wait for it to get into the trapezoidal area and leave it there. 3:56 to play in the third. 22 seconds left in the power play.
All right, Shane Pinto and Matthew Nyes giving it to each other, going to the bench.
Robertson sends it in over the line. Shabbat spun off the puck there by Domi as it comes to the right point. Walking the line, OEL into the slot. Puck in front of the goal, intercepted there, and poked to the line, but not out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson a shot, and that deflected wide. Boy, Stolarz was pounding that stick to make sure everybody knew someone was coming out of the box. Played in on the left wing, driving the net. Stützle, poke check, Johnny Bower. Didn't do it any better. But a penalty coming to Toronto.
Might be Ekman-Larsson is going to go for the trip with 3:18 to go. All right, a couple of notes. The last time the Leafs had 6 goals in a playoff series. Or is it going to be Stolarz that's going to get it? No, Ekman-Larsson coming. Last time the Leafs scored 6 goals in a playoff game, Joe, April 26, 2002. A 6-3 win over the New York Islanders. Last time they had 3 power play goals in a game was against the Buffalo Sabres in Game 1 of the '99 Eastern Conference Finals.
Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid, proudly built here in Ontario. Visit your Ontario Honda dealers today. 3:18 to play in the third. Second power play of the game for Ottawa. Lawton wins the face-off cleanly, and it is ripped down the ice by Calle Jarnkrok. Sends back in their own end. Through center. Sanderson drops. Stützle brings it in on the right wing for Pinto. Into the corner for Stützle, but a bad pass back to the blue line. Goes all the way back into Ottawa territory.
I think this is a big kill for the Leafs. Just an exclamation mark on this game.
Brought forward by Stützle. Gets it into the corner. Swings it around the boards to the near side for Pinto. Pinto into the corner. Brandon Carlo against the boards, freed it up.
What a play.
And here's a great rush now coming to center ice by Pontus Holmberg. You were talking about Brandon Carlo, I think.
Oh, I mean, fends off two guys, kicks it to his stick, and then just plays it up to Holmberg to carry the puck out of the zone.
56 seconds left in the power play. Stützle. 2:11 left to go. Third period, a 6-2 Toronto lead. Left wing boards for Perron. Back to the blue line, just kept in. Perron down at the side of the net, goes to the far half boards. Looking back for Chabot and finding him. Chabot near side for Giroux. Giroux holds, tries to pass it in front. They do it! Stolarz is there again! Zetterlund getting in a pushing session there with Simon Benoit. But the Leafs do such a good job of boxing out.
Yeah, and a lot of that, Joe, is when you got trust in your goaltender, let him see it. You're not afraid of them to shoot, and without overstating the obvious, when you look at save percentage and everything else at the other end with Linus Ullmark, a lot of the goals he's been beaten on have been one-on-one shots. You know, there was the deflection on the Riley goal. There was a rebound on the Tavares goal. He had a number where...
Draw one by Ottawa. Chabot off a stick, broken up. Scotty Lawton carries to the red line and just banks it down into the left wing corner. Penalty is 16 seconds left in it. Chabot coming out, dropping it off on the right wing side for Nick Jensen. Jensen will send it around the boards to the far side. Lawton along with Tanev blocking that as it comes to the point. Chabot can't shoot it. Penalty is over. OEL is on the ice. The Leafs get it out at center, and Lawton pushes it back into Ottawa territory with 1:08 left to go. They're on their feet at Scotiabank Arena. Played into the corner in the Toronto end. Along the boards, Robertson couldn't get it out. Blocks it now. Robertson didn't see it, but a penalty is coming to Toronto, I think. Who was that? Clevin took a healthy run at somebody. Now we got everything kind of going sideways. A couple of pushing and shoving sessions. Benoit's trying to drag one of the Senators out at center ice. If he'd like to go with him, it would be Matthew Highmore. If he does, now we got Domi trying to get at somebody.
That's Gaudette. Linesman going to try to break this up. And it'll be interesting to see what the penalty was, and especially in the last minute of a game, which could lead to a suspension.
Max is being sent to the warm water and dry towels.
Is this some sort of mindset of the Ottawa Senators that these are the Leafs that everyone thought was soft in the playoffs and could be intimidated? I don't know if this is the same too.
Scouting.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that it might have been a pretty valid argument in the past, but I think what you saw was Simon Benoit and Matthew Highmore. Or is this a Leaf penalty coming up?
Oh, Nick Robertson.
My apologies.
Yeah.
It was a blocked shot and Robertson's stick came up. But then I think the Ottawa Senators might have evened things up here. Was it Clevin at the end?
Yeah, and then
took a run
Gaudette.
at somebody, and then
Gaudette got into it with Domi. And Simon Benoit and Highmore didn't want to have anything to do with Simon Benoit.
Well, yeah, Nick Robertson came out, blocked the shot, and then when he tried to jump past the Ottawa defenseman, he got his stick up and clipped him.
Well, we're going to have to sort this out.
I just thought the penalty was, I didn't hear the whistle, but it was that quick, and it was going to be on Robertson. I think that's the initial call, 43.7 seconds left. And like I said, Joe, I really think the penalty kill by the Leafs late. I know nobody's going to look back and say, hey, remember that penalty kill they had in the 6-2 lead in the third period? But I just think it was an exclamation point. We aren't giving you an inch. We're not backing down from the game plan. And I think from Ottawa,
and they're playing 60 minutes.
Yes. Somebody is.
Original penalty on the ice to Toronto, number 89, 2 minutes for high sticking. Ottawa, number 15, has 2 minutes for roughing. And then Toronto, number 2, 11, 25, 74, and 89 have 2 minutes for roughing. And then Ottawa, 43, 15, 22, 33, and 81 have 2 minutes for roughing.
I thought it was a play.
4-on-4.
Wait, excuse me.
Could you just fill us in on what all of that was?
Just a sec. Can you do that again, please? I just, and do it with a little rhythm, like you're telling a phone number.
89, 64, 2, hike. Oh, wrong sport.
Oh, now we missed. He had a footnote at the end there that we missed. It looks like we're going to be playing 5-on-5, though.
Oh, I thought he said 4-on-4.
Let's see.
No, 5-on-5. All right. Are the Leafs short-handed?
No, I'm going to face off and be in the Leafs zone.
Brandon Carlo has gone to the Leafs dressing room as well. I can't remember if his number was read off.
No.
Now there's about 3 of the Senators are off to the dressing room as well.
Well, this game goes to overtime. We're playing 3-on-3 regardless, right?
Benoit's gone to the dressing room.
Yeah, we're running out here. Now, Ottawa has 4 players on there. The 5th comes over.
Craig Berube's got the Leafs 4th line out there. And it looks like we have finally got it sorted out. And the draw won by Ottawa. Zoo gets it down into the Leaf end. They're still on their feet here at Scotiabank Arena. Puck along the boards. Senators trying to come out of the corner with it. 28 seconds left. Point shot off a leg wide. Rebound in along the boards, back of the Toronto net. Jake McCabe flipping it up on the wing, but it won't clear. Senators get it back to the point. Zub in along the boards. That's deflected. Grabbed off by Lorenz. He gets it out at center. And then Pontus Holmberg is tackled by Nick Jensen.
What is Jensen doing? Shane Pinto just suckered Chris Tanev.
Yeah. Pinto and Tanev pushing. Nothing more is going to come with the horn sounding, or is it? Jake McCabe's over there. Well, I always thought this was going to be a nice, quiet Battle of Ontario that wouldn't have any animosity attached to it, but I guess I'm wrong.
You know what? I like the fact that the Leafs didn't want to continue on with this. It's look, we did what we came here to do in Game 1. I don't know whether it's Ottawa thinking they can send a message for the next game. Their discipline cost them a lot in this one. 3 power play goals for the Leafs. By my count, 4 penalties taken in the offensive zone by Ottawa. And I realize you're trying to send a message in the third period. I thought the first 5 or 6 minutes from Ottawa was a pretty good message. The Leafs came out flat. Ottawa pushed, made it 4-2 before the Leafs were able to take over the game thanks to the power play goal by Nyes and the goal by Morgan Riley to put this one out of reach.
3 stars, and I'm going to do a 4th star. And the 3 stars brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at desjardins.com/care today. My 4th star,
Right.
this crowd. We have criticized them. We criticized them in the postseason. They were on fire from the start of this game to the finish. So I'm giving them the 4th star.
Yeah, it was not reactive, as they've been accused of being, although they had plenty to react to in this one. We'll go star number 3 for the Leafs. Some huge stops, and I could still go to a turning point in this game was the breakaway save off Matthews Tkachuk by Anthony Stolarz. He stops 31-33 in goal for the Leafs, his first ever Stanley Cup playoff win. Star number 2, John Tavares, huge power play goal in the second period to restore the Leafs' 2-goal lead. 2-point night for him. And Mitchell Marner, 3 points in game 1 of this series. We can criticize the crowd. There's been a lot of criticism for the core 4, and the core 4 was pretty good on this night for the Leafs. Austin Matthews didn't score, but assists in the game. So we got the goaltending, which I think has been a concern in previous years over the last 7 or 8. And certainly they got the power play going, and the big boys showed up. And another honorable mention, the 4th line was outstanding for the Leafs. They were on for the Oliver Ekman-Larsson goal that opened the scoring, but they spent a lot of time in the offensive zone and made plays. It wasn't just chop it back and forth. They made plays and were dangerous.
So the Leafs win it by a score of 6-2. And we are with you on Tuesday night when the Leafs will play game 2 here at Scotiabank Arena. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.